Hi, I'm Alex Follett and this is the 10th episode of 51.5 Tips for a Beginner Property Investor. Today I'm going to talk about facing objections from your loved ones. And as usual, I'm going to share my experience. So I have two examples to give. One is a positive example where I was able to resolve the problem. And another example is not that positive, and it actually had a huge impact in my life. So I've separated from my husband, but it wasn't everything to do, obviously, with property. There were some other problems, and in a few minutes I would like to tell you how I dealt with the situation. So first of all, I'll tell you about the positive example where my close friend, when I started to learn about property in 2014, at the same time, she was starting to get involved with some political situation. So I'm originally from Russia, so you can probably guess what sort of political situation there was in 2014. And at the same time, what I was doing, I was cutting out all the negative people from my life, so in the Facebook feed, whatever negative I've seen from people coming several times, I would just unfollow them. So they would still think, I'm still their friend on Facebook, but I can see their feed. Or, for example, at work, if there is somebody who is always constantly talking about problems, traveling to work, how problematic it was, I just distance myself and not really spend too much time with the negative people. So there was a problem where this friend of mine was really getting involved in this political situation, and it was just getting too much, lots of posts on Facebook. And what I did, I unfollowed her. And I thought, is this person important in my life? And she was very important. She was one of my best friends. And basically, I told openly to her, I told her, look, I unfollowed you on Facebook. You're a very important person in my life. I'm currently concentrating on property. And at the moment, I just find it problematic to find common topics to talk to you. And she was actually very understanding, and we didn't have much contact with each other for about a year, but I know that she always, asked our common friends how I was, and she was very respectful, and so did I. And after about a year, we met at a birthday party, and we chatted like, there was no problem. And now we talk about property quite a lot, and, she calmed down a bit with her sort of political engagement. So that was a positive outcome. And I'm very happy about it. So the other example which I was going to give you, my ex-husband, was very critical of the fact that I started to learn about property, and I was talking, let's find JV partners, and he would say, oh, don't ask my parents, and whatever I was talking about, leafleting, direct-to-vendor marketing, different strategies, it was very negative, and I just, I was just hitting the brick wall, and things didn't really work out as I expected, straight away. And at some point I just thought, something had to change. And it wasn't to do just with property, he was critical on, in other different areas. And it took me a year, I did step out of property. So I just concentrated on my work, concentrated on the family. I didn't do much in property. So that was the whole of 2015. And by the mid-year, I decided, well, there was a time, it's just, it was better for us to separate. And so we have two children, and, for many years I was sort of trying to keep going for the sake of the children, but then I just realized that actually for the sake of the children, it's best if we're separate, and they see mommy happy, they can see daddy happy, and now actually we get on quite well. So we separated about a year ago. So he moved out in November 2015, and in January 2016 I attended a property training event as a crew member, so to refresh my memory, and I met my business partner there, and things started to happen for me, in the property area. And what also happened during 2015, I did manage to save some money for a deposit. So it was good, you know, to take time out of the property, but I was still thinking about property investment, and I did gather a deposit. And also my mom decided to invest some money with me. So at the end, it worked out well. So it is a very drastic example, and as I said, it wasn't everything to do with property. But you know, if other things, if it was working well in other areas, what I would have done, I would have taken him to, you know, maybe a property event which lasts 3 days or 2 days. There are free events like this so that he can learn about it. And also I find that it takes time, you know, because when we're starting something new, it is a change. So for example, you tell your partner, oh, you know, I want to invest this money, and your partner thinks, yeah, but we want to go to Australia on holiday next year. Does it mean that it's not going to happen? So you would need to address concerns like that. Or for example, if you're saying, okay, I'm going away on different property seminars, trainings all the time, and your partner doesn't see you as much, so it is a concern for them. So you need to address concerns and make sure you talk the same language with your partner, and it does take time. So they need to see that you're actually committed. It's not just, you know, after a month or two you decided, oh, actually, you know, I don't want to do it anymore, so you're not excited anymore and you stop doing it. So your partner needs to see, or maybe your parents, your family, they need to see that you're committed and you're doing it, and you're going to do it despite of the objections. So I hope that it doesn't have to be for you as drastic as it was for me. And good luck. See you next week.